So it's been 2 years since we spoke about the Galaxy Fold. So let's talk about the Galaxy Z Fold 6, shall we? I've been using this device as my daily driver for some weeks now, and one thing I feel is an improvement is the general design and the feel of it. Now, it looks and feels like a phone that happens to unfold rather than a whole different product category. I like the boxy feel and the fact that this year the cover display actually has an aspect ratio that is closer to what you'd have on your normal phone. Everything about the design of this device screams premium, and that has got to be because it has aluminium housing and glass, and it's kind of slippery. So if you're planning to get one of these, you'd want to always have it in case or be a bit careful of how you handle the phone. Moving on to something that is like a headline feature of this device, and that has got to be the display. The screen or screens on this device are actually really good. I like the colors. I like how bright they get when I'm outside and watching movies or playing video games or generally enjoying content from this phone. And I can say for a fact that the screens are one of the best selling points of this phone. On the cover display, we have a 6.3-inch AMOLED 120Hz display, and on the inside we have a 6.7-inch 120Hz AMOLED display, which is crazy because if you think about it, we have two 120Hz AMOLED displays on one device, and that is nuts. But then honestly, between you and I always prefer to use the inner display for anything that I'm doing, and I always find the excuse to do that, whether it is just scrolling through Facebook or watching YouTube videos or watching movies or playing video games or writing scripts, like preparing a script for this video. I prefer to use the inner display because it's big, and that is the whole idea of having a foldable device, because then you can have access to a tablet size screen on the go when you need it, and you don't have to like rely solely on this tiny display when you actually need to do like actual work done. And the fact that you can have up to 6 apps running on the screen at the same time, at that point the screen isn't big enough, but then you can do that, and it's pretty crazy. On the side of performance, I didn't face any issues because I can play games like Candy Crush on peak settings. But seriously, I get to enjoy video games on peak settings and not have any issues with the performance of the phone. At the same time, I'm able to edit videos and compress videos and also do some intensive tasks on the phone and not have it like overly heat or slow down or do anything of that matter, and I really enjoy it. And that has probably got to be because it has 12 gigs of RAM, and at the same time it runs on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, which is a bit overclocked. So everything here runs smoothly and everything works as it should. You don't find yourself waiting for processes to happen. I don't know if that makes sense, but then it is what it is. And all these performance gains wouldn't make sense if the phone has a bad battery life. And I'm glad to report that I'm really satisfied with the battery life on this phone. The batteries on this is able to last me throughout the day, even though sometimes I find myself charging it before the day will end. It's still pretty good compared to other devices that I've used with a similar battery size. But then at the end of the day, if you find yourself killing the battery, the phone supports up to 25 watts fast charging, but you will not get the brick in the box. And if you're able to get a supported charging brick that supports 25 watts, it will take you about an hour 30 minutes to charge the phone from a 0 to 100%. But on the flip side, get it? Flip side, you get a 15 watt wireless charging and also support for 4.5 watts reversed wireless charging in case you want to power up that earbuds of yours or the smartwatch of yours. And all of this runs on One UI 6.1 that is on top of Android 14, which is quite similar to what you'd get on the Samsung S24 series. But it being a foldable, it has some foldable specific features. Like when the phone is unfolded in this mode, you get a task bar that you can use to view your recent apps or most used apps, and you can drag an app from the task bar to the screen to use. And also comes with an extra setting that allows you to continue using an app whether you we're using it in an open form or on the cover screen, and then you change the other side, it will just continue from where you stopped, which is kind of crazy because then the app has to switch from tablet mode to phone mode or from phone mode to tablet mode. And also, there's this feature called Flex Mode that has extra features or extra settings depending on what app you're in. When you curve the phone like this and you have an app like YouTube or your camera app opened. So there's that. But it wouldn't be a 2024 flagship device without some AI features. And here are my favorites. My first favorite AI feature on this phone has got to be the circle to search. I find myself using it way more often than not because I'm a lazy person and I like to find out whatever I'm seeing on my screen. And it comes in handy all the time. The second thing that actually breaks my mind anytime I use it is sketch to image. You can take a picture and you can draw something on that picture and it will generate a realistic image on top of that image for you. Or you can just draw something. I'm terrible when it comes to drawing, but anytime I draw something, scribble something, the AI on here is able to turn into a beautiful art for me and I can impress my SO. With that said, this feature makes way more sense to use if you're using a stylus. And I think that really takes advantage of the dual screen or the flex mode on this phone is the AI interpreter. When you have it open, it can either use here, the inner display or the outer display to display your language to you or the whoever you're trying to translate to. And another thing as an extension is the call assist, which can actually translate phone calls for you when the other person on the line doesn't speak your native language. So you can have the person speaking French or whatever language they are speaking as like international language or supported language, and it will translate it to English or any other language I set for you, which is crazy. The first couple of times I used it, it felt like voodoo, but then it's AI and it's kind of cool. But one thing you want to keep in mind is there is an option to keep all AI processing or processes on the phone offline without using the internet, which is cool and kind of comforting for those people who are privacy conscious. But mind you that when you choose this option, the results and feature set of this AI stuff wouldn't be as accurate and as present because it needs the internet to work properly. So keep that in mind when you're trying these things out on this device. Finally, we get to the cameras, which is a lot of people's favorite. Cameras on this phone are actually really good. I like the way it handles HDR and colors and skin tones, and the details in every shot that you take always blow my mind. Like, Brody, where from all this? And it does well in low light too. I'm still trying to find out where it finds the light to give you the pictures in low light because no be juju be that. Whilst the front-facing camera on this phone is really good, one of the perks of having a folding device is the ability to use your rear-facing camera for selfies, which is kind of unheard of, or it's like a cheat note because now you can take pictures with your rear view camera and then use the cover display as a preview window and see what pictures you're taking and how to frame yourself. On the inside display, it has an under-screen camera, which isn't as good as the rest of the cameras on the phone. But then it's pretty good enough if you want to use something or if you want something for video calls or joining Zoom meetings and things of that sort. So yeah, that has been the Galaxy Z Fold 6. I actually had a lot of fun using this device and I really like it. Now it replaces the Z Fold 4 and Z Fold 5 and even the S24 as my favorite smartphone of all time. And I would recommend this if you're in the market to get one of this. But if you're someone who currently has the Z Fold 5, I would advise you to just skip it because the experience on here is something similar to what you would get on the Z Fold 5. And the Z Fold 5 is cheaper than getting this one. With that said, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you consider getting one of this? And what are your favorite features of this device? Also, if you watched to this time, comment thumbs up in the comment section below. Bye.